Here's a couple interesting ways of remembering your debits and credits, or your journalizing your transactions, chapter 2. If you take a look at the screen, you're going to see not the best picture of my hand, but I drew a picture of a hand, if you will. And I named all my digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. Yes, because we have a thumb. Number 1's my thumb, and some people say it's a thumb and 4 fingers, but I've got 5. And what I'm going to do with these 5, if you take a look at it, I'm going to do them in we call it Y in sign language, and you're probably asking why. Well, I'm doing it in such a way that I'm going to name them, and I'm going to show you why. Well, number 1, I'm going to name my asset. Number 2, I'm going to name my liability. Number 3, I'm going to name my capital. Number 4, revenue. Number 5, expenses, as you see right here on this line. Now, what does that mean? If we take a look really closely, the 2 on the end are coming up, and the 3 in the middle are going down. Now, one thing you're going to learn this class, this chapter, is something called a T account. And you're wondering why it looks like a T account? Because it looks like a T. You're also going to learn that there's something called a debit and a credit. Now, do not get it confused with debits and credits. It just is a term. So D and C. So I always say DR and CR. So DR and CR. And if you take a look, every time I'm doing it, my debit goes on, my debit goes on my left, my credit goes on my right. Also, if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those you're calling your chart of accounting. So what's really important here is to understand mostly what is an asset, what is a liability, what is a capital, what is revenue, what is expenses. Because once you know what it is, you've now identified, there's your plus, because your 2 fingers on the end are going up. Like I said, there's all your debits. And your 3 fingers in the middle are going down. And just as another color here, we'll do blue. My credit then will go down and up and up and up and down. That's the opposite. Now, that's the easiest way to remember it if you ask me. So just for the fun of it, I went ahead at the bottom here and I did a quick example, and I'll come back to a couple ways of remembering it. But you can see if I was journalizing this transaction, I'd say on January 3rd, cash and accounts receivable, something happened. Well, if you have ever taken a physics class, the plus means it's going to and the negative means it's going away. Now, we do know that cash and accounts receivable are both assets. So if the debit is on the top, on the left in this case, cash actually went up and my receivable went down. That means somebody actually paid me cash for a receivable they owed me. So that's the easy way of remembering this, is that plus and minus is a direction. So you can see if you incur a debt, it's a credit. If you incur capital, it's a credit. If you incur revenue, it's a credit. If you incur an expense, it's a debit. If, as Beyonce always said, if you notice here, everything you own is to the left, to the left, to the left. Check the box. Now, another way, another way of looking at this, let's grab a different color. Let's do a green here. And by the way, there are actually 2 categories here, and I better put the second category. The second category is called drawing. And drawing means I'm taking away and not adding to capital. So drawing would be the actual opposite of this one. And if we look really, really closely, and I'll do it in a different color. I've used about every color, so let's see a little light blue. If we look really closely, these account charts, that's 4 and 5 is your income statement, and 3 drawing. All 3 of these in blue are temporary. This is your permanent statement. You learned at Accounting 1. Now, if you take a look at the 3, we hope that the first one, 4, adds to your balance sheet, and 5, and this temporary drawing 3B takes away from it. And that's why if you take a look closely, the revenue is the same, and expense and drawing are the opposite of capital. So the only other reason it would be that way is if we incur a loss. That means in this case right here that our expenses outweigh our credit revenues, then we'd have a loss. But I hope this helps remember your debits and credits. And if you're wondering, these numbers here, that's also called your chart of account. 1, because 1 is cash, will be the first thing, and usually accounts receivable is the second one. So it was 1, both of them are 1 because they go to account 1, and 1 means it's first on the balance sheet, and 2 means it's second. And again, debit and credit, cash going to, accounts receivable going away. Remember, the debit and credit is just a directional thing. So I hope this helps a little bit with debits and credits. If you need some help, more help, just let me know.